Ahoy mateys, this is BrickBeard, and it's time for another set in the Winter Village series. And today's set is the first ever that is not based around a building with some side builds, but it's actually a vehicle, namely the Winter Village train. So let's see how this unique set matches up with the other sets in the Winter Village series. Here it is, the Winter Holiday Train, and as you can clearly see, this is a completely different type of set that we've seen before for the Winter Village series. It's super nice that we get a nice train to run around the village for the first time ever. But yeah, up till now everything has been mostly about a building with some side builds, or in one exception we had the market with the huge carousel in the middle. So they're absolutely mixing it up with this set, which is super nice to see. This set was already released back in 2016, so it's already 5 years old by now, and it's pretty hard to get your hands on at the moment. This was also, if you count the price per piece ratio, one of the most expensive Winter Village sets that they ever released. And the reason for that mostly is because this also came with a full circle of train tracks, 16 pieces of curved train tracks. That I don't have here at the moment because they are already in the village, and if you didn't hear already in one of the previous videos, I'm working my way up to have all the reviews and speed builds of the Winter Village sets done. So at the day before Christmas I can let you enjoy all the complete Winter Village once it's absolutely done. So the train tracks are already in there because I'm building very hard on getting that ready. And if you're interested in all the other videos in the Winter Village series, you can click here because I have a playlist for you with all the Winter Village videos I have up at the moment. But let's focus on the Winter Holiday Train for now, and let's start with a bit of background information. This is set 10254, the Winter Holiday Train from the Creator Expert line, and like I said, released in 2016, and it comes with 738 pieces. That is the least amount of pieces we've seen so far in a Winter Village set, so it's really not that much. But granted, there are 16 train tracks included in this, and also some bigger pieces in the base for the trains, for instance. So the pieces that we see here are a bit more expensive than the normal pieces that we get in a lot of the other Winter Village sets. This was sold for $100 or 90 euros. That comes down to 12 to 14 cents per piece. That is a huge increase over the other sets we've seen in this series so far, because most of them range anywhere between, let's say, 7 and 9 cents per piece, and this immediately bumps it up to 12 to 14 cents. Again, of course, mostly because of train tracks and the train elements that are in here. So it is explainable why it is that expensive on price per piece. And the designer of the set is Morten Rauf, and he only worked on Creator and Creator Expert sets. The set, as we can see here, comes with the train, the main building that we get here, and a little bench, and some gifts that are at the moment in the train and in front of it. The set is expandable with the bit of power functions, so I did that already. If you want to see how that is done, I did it in the speed build video that you can check up here as well. So there's a full speed build of the train itself, and also the implementing of the power functions. Like all of the Winter Village sets, it comes in a super nice box. We have the front of the box here where you can just see the train and the information that there's also tracks included. And then on the back of the box you can see some more close-ups of everything the train has going on and the information about the power functions. So you need quite a lot of extra elements to have the power functions working in this set. But I think it's absolutely worth it because it looks amazing once it's in the village and it can run around there, which you will see in the end when the Winter Village is done. Next to the box, of course, we have two instruction manuals. The first one is only for the presents and the little side build, the bench and some of the minifigures. And the second instruction manual is for the train itself and for the implementation of the power functions, if you would like to do that. Before we go any further, let's take a close-up look at the minifigures. There's 5 of them in total in this set, so let's see who those are. The first minifigure in the set is a grandmother. She has medium-length curly brown hair. If you take the hairpiece off, you can see that her face is printed on both sides. On one side she has a big smile with some eye makeup and a little bit of lipstick and some freckles, and on the other side she is looking content with her eyes closed but with a little smile on her face. The torso comes in black and it's printed on both sides, and there's a fur pattern on her winter jacket, and below this furry winter jacket she has a white shirt and a black tie. The print continues in the back where you can see some fur on the top of the print. She comes with a regular sized leg piece in dark grey. This is a pretty nice minifigure to start off with. The next minifigure is a young boy. He comes with a medium length straight nougat hairpiece, and if we take it off, his face is printed only on one side, with a big smile, some freckles, and he just looks generally pretty happy. The torso is in red with dark red arms, and the print continues with that theme. He has a red jacket with some pockets, and in one of those pockets you can see the print of a phone, and under that he has a dark red sweater. On the back of the torso the print continues, and there's a nautical print on the back with an anchor. I'm not too sure what this has to do with this specific set. He has a small size leg piece in blue. The print on the torso of this minifigure is a bit confusing to me. The next minifigure is a young girl. She has a pretty common hairpiece in brown with a ponytail and some bangs on the front. Beneath that she has a face printed only on one side with a tiny bit of makeup around her eyes, some freckles and a small smile. No print on the other side. For the torso she has a very familiar torso that we've seen a lot of times in the Winter Village sets before. It comes in green and it has a big fluffy jacket print on it, with on the front a zipper and some pockets, and on the back just some lines. She as well comes with a small leg piece in beige. The next minifigure is the Locomotive Driver. He comes with a blue cap and beneath that a face printed only on one side, with again a very familiar face print with a brown goatee and a big smile on his face. The torso is in light blue and only printed on one side, where we can see some overalls and some tools in his pockets, a pencil and some other tools, and a black shirt beneath it. He's also wearing a red scarf and he has a regular sized leg piece in blue. And the last of the minifigures is the Ticket Collector. This is probably the nicest minifigure that we get in this set. He comes with a dark red hat and a face again only printed on one side, but a very nice face print with a big handlebar mustache in grey and dark grey, and some hair prints on the side of the face with a frowny face where one of his eyebrows is raised. The torso is in light grey with white arms and has a print on both sides. He's wearing a fancy jacket with dark and light grey stripes and a white shirt under that with a red tie. He also has a gold watch in one of his pockets. The print continues in the back where we see the same dark and light grey print with a belt and a golden buckle on the back. He has a regular sized leg piece in dark red. It seems like this set only has two really outstanding minifigures, the Grandmother and the Ticket Collector. Those were the minifigures, 5 of them in the entire set, which is again a bit less than we saw before, because we had Winter Village set with up to 9 minifigures and now we're down to 5. We already saw another set which had it down to 6, but it looks like there's a trend in decreasing the amount of minifigures that come with the set. We know for a fact that in this year's Winter Village set, which was Santa's Visit, which I already did a review of when it first came out, it only had 4 minifigures, so it really looks like they're decreasing the amount of minifigures that come with these sets. That is not a good sign if you ask me, because I really love the fact that in the older Winter Village sets we had like 8 or 9 minifigures even, which was amazing, but yeah, it's gonna cost some points on this set that there's only 5 minifigures included. The minifigures that we do get look nice. Some of them have some unique elements, some nice hair pieces or unique prints, like in the Ticket Collector. But others, like the little girl in front here, she only consists of elements we have seen before. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. It's not the best selection, it's not the worst selection, but also the amount of minifigures is not too exciting. So I'm just gonna rate the minifigure selection a 7 out of 10. Then on to the building experience. The building experience of this is actually quite straightforward. It does get a bit more interesting if you also have the power functions included, which can be pretty easily implemented, but it's very nice at the end that you have to take some elements out and put the power functions in. So you can have it both ways. You can first build it normally and then convert it to the power functions. There are some elements that you have to take out. I have them right here. So these are included in the original build, but they get taken out if you want to put the power functions on there. So that's these parts. But other than that, the building experience is pretty straightforward. The locomotive is pretty interesting. There's some nice stuff going on in the way it's built. The other cards, especially this one here, the coal card or the battery card in this sense with the power functions, and the passengers card, it's not that interesting. It's very straightforward and yeah, just not a lot going on. This one on the other hand, this one is pretty interesting because there's a mechanism in there that makes the tree move here, which I'll show you in a bit. The bench is pretty straightforward. There are some nice mini builds with some toys, but not super interesting in that sense. So the building experience is just a 7 out of 10 for me. Not the best we've seen in this entire series. Then for the playability, of course, it's always nice to have a train riding out in your village, right? So especially with the train tracks and even better if you have the power functions, this is a really nice set for playability. You get some minifigures to put in the train. There's some moving stuff. You can see it here. It's a bit hard without the tracks, but you can see the tree moving around when you move this card. So actually there's a mechanism in here that makes the tree and the little miniature train move as well. So that's super cool for the playability. You get a lot of mini toys, and like I said, especially with the remote control for the power functions, yeah, just driving this thing around in your village, that's amazing. It's really cool and a really good feature for playability. But still, the train itself is a bit static. The element of the tree that is moving, that's a nice little extra, but there's not a huge amount going on, and especially if you don't have the power functions, it loses a lot of its playability. So I have to be honest here, and I have to rate it by the normal variant of this set without the power functions. Still, I think even if you move it by hand, this is absolutely a nice set for playability, and it will really tickle the imagination of playing with this, so I'm still gonna rate it an 8 out of 10. Display value, I think they did a great job in how this thing looks. It looks festive, it still looks like a classic old schooly train, and it fits perfectly within the village. The color scheme is super nice with the red and green, with a bit of dark blue and black tones throughout here. I think it just looks absolutely great. It's a beautiful set to look at, and it looks much bigger than the pieces that you actually get. For 700 pieces, it's pretty stretched out, which makes it look bigger than it actually is in that sense. And therefore I rated display value also an 8 out of 10. I think they did a great job in designing this. Then for the part selection. The part selection is nothing really to write home about. There is some interesting stuff going on. There are some unique elements in the minifigures, but and also in the train elements, but not a huge amount. And I think it's very hard to rebuild this into something different than the train we see in front of us. So also for the parts, it's not a really good selection, but we've seen in the other Winter Village sets, that's actually the one of the weakest points of the Winter Village, that the part selection is not really that good. It's not bad, and it absolutely does its job, but there is not really a huge amount that you can do with the pieces that we're getting other than what we see here already. Not a lot of unique parts, and not a lot of rare parts, not even in this set. So part selection is again only getting a 6 out of 10, which seems to be a bit of a trend for the Winter Village series. And then finally, the value for money. With 12 to 14 cents per piece, although it is explainable why it is that expensive price per piece wise, I still think it's very expensive for what you're getting. $100 to 90 euros, it's a lot for a small train like this. It does help that you get all the train tracks and the train elements in there, but still, it's really not the best price per piece ratio. It looks like you're getting much more than you actually get because of the train tracks, but yeah, for 12 to 14 cents per piece, I can give this a high rate, although I think the train that you get in return for it is super nice. But I'm only gonna rate it a 6 out of 10 for value for money. It's really not too good. I would have liked seeing this be priced at 70, maybe $80 or euros. I think that would have been a much fairer price than 90 to 100 euros that we pay for this set. And that comes down to an overall rating of a 7 out of 10. That is absolutely not a bad score, but I think they could have done a bit of a better job, especially if you look at the price this is going for. I think they went for the first time, they went a bit overboard with the price that you're paying for it. Again, explainable with all the train tracks you get with it as well, but I still think it's way too much for what you're getting in return. So the overall rating is 7 out of 10. I think that is decent, but it really doesn't deserve more. This is for me one of the weaker Winter Village sets that we have. It's super nice to have a train in your village, and I think they did do a good job with it. Just compared to the other Winter Village set, I don't think it holds up to the standard of quality we've seen in those sets, and that is just a bit of a shame. So I think a 7 out of 10, it's fair for this set. But this is one of the last sets I would actually advise you to try and get your hands on if you could still get it for a fair price, especially since the price of this skyrocketed as well at the moment. And that's it for today's video. Thank you guys again for watching. If you didn't do so already, please like and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you stay updated. Before the end of the year, before Christmas even, I will release more sets and more reviews and speed builds about the Winter Village series. So you can get a good idea of what everything is that is implemented in my Winter Village, which will come in just a couple of weeks. I am very excited to show you all this, and in the meantime I have been doing some shorts with some small stop motion builds, so check those out as well. They're all in the playlist up here of the Winter Village. And if you like this video, please leave a comment and a like on this video because it helps me out a lot. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!